Hello, hello, and welcome back at Channel 1 with Max and myself, Melina, here at SAP TechEd 2020. We have a lot of things to cover this hour, but before we get into that, I want to highlight that the content tracks are now open. You can watch following strategy talks, and if you haven't looked at the agenda, let me highlight a few of them. So in the content track, Intelligent Technologies, there is Business Automation with Artificial Intelligence and AI Business Services. There's another content track, Analytics, where you can watch the session right now, Realizing the Data Superpower, or another one I can highlight is Database and Data Management, where we have a strategy talk, SAP Data Intelligence, as part of SAP HANA Cloud, and many more. So I recommend you to check out sapteched.com and go to the session catalog or to the agenda and see what's coming up right now. Now, for Channel 1, we have a full hour to cover, and this time with a topic, sustainability. So it's, of course, very relevant right now, and therefore we have a live expert talk about Climate 21. If you think Climate 21 is something new to me, then definitely recommend staying with us and hear from our experts. We will have a customer talk with Royal Greenland, which is developing a sustainable process. And then after that, so stay tuned, we will have another hour with SAP community members trying to upskill you. There, we will wait for transitioning from ABAP programmer to developer, and another talk, Set Talent into Motion with Emotion. But enough for the outlook of the couple of hours. Max, what do we have coming up right now? Who is coming?
We have, for the next hour, all around sustainability. We have two experts coming in, but before that, we will focus on SAP Climate 21. Climate 21 was announced by Christian Klein early in 2020 at Sapphire. And as you know, SAP has committed to carbon neutrality until 2025. We will, as we are not the experts and don't waste for time, we will have two experts, as I already said. I'm proud to be here with two SAP employees. They are roughly 20 years already with SAP. I'm speaking of Priyadarshini, Prabhoo. Also, she calls herself Pretty, so further on we will just call her Pretty. Vice President, Product Management Lead, Climate 21. And also Gunther Rothermel, Senior Vice President and Head of SAP S/4HANA Sustainability Management.
Yeah, I can't wait for the interview. So let's shed some light on Climate 21, since the experts are with us. I know it's pretty early for them right now, since they are both located in Germany, but let's welcome them. Hi, Gunther. Hi, Pretty.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a brilliant TechEd so far.
Hello, good morning. Yes, wonderful so far. Great to be here with you today.
We have lots of questions. Sorry to interrupt you, Pretty. I'm so unpolite.
Go ahead.
We have lots and loads of questions prepared already, and I'd like to continue without having too much chit-chat. I'd like to start with you, Gunther. And we had the keynote of Thomas and Christian, as I already said, in Sapphire 2020. And they mentioned Climate 21 will be a new dimension of success and referred to it as Greenland. Could you elaborate on what that means?
Yeah, thank you for asking this. This is an important part of our strategy and story, because what we need to do as a society and as business is moving forward is we need to measure success beyond the classical top line and bottom line, where we look at financial KPIs and the financial impact. But I think we all know that the precious resources of our planet are important for the equation as well. So we introduce this green line in addition to the classical way of how we measure success, and that is where we bring in sustainability factors like carbon footprint, energy consumption, water consumption, to measure and manage this part of success as well. So it's a very important dimension of success.
In general, why is like climate action coming more important, and why is it important for CEOs?
Well, many reasons. I think if we switch on the TV every evening, we see how, how much climate change is really visible. We see all of these wildfires. We see the storms, just warming. I think this awareness is very strong. And it's also clearly important for our customers and our partners. It's becoming very relevant for them. It's becoming important for financial stakeholders, for the customers of our customers, for their employees. And I think we all need to contribute here to make a difference and to take action, because if we are not taking action now, then it will be probably too late.
Speaking of action, what's SAP's take on or approach towards sustainability?
So first, we have, of course, two sides of the coin. On the one side, we as a company ourselves are very committed to sustainability as well. So we apply sustainability to our daily businesses in again, how we consume energy, how we deal with waste. And we sometimes call this part of our approach to sustainability, we call this an exemplar role, because we want to live it ourselves. And it's very important to walk the talk. On the other side, and this is more what Priti and myself are looking into and driving, is of course we want to give our customers and partners the right tools, the right software to apply sustainability themselves. So to embed sustainability into business processes. And this part of our strategy we call the enabler role, right? We are giving tools and software as an enabler to our customers. So these two sides are part of our strategy. And of course, then on the enabler side, we have a set of products and new initiatives coming up that we will talk more about in a second, I guess.
Absolutely, we'll cover that definitely in a second. Why is sustainability and climate action in general strategic to SAP?
Yeah, that's a good one. And again, many reasons. We are committed ourselves, and I think we heard this from our board members loud and clear as well. We want to contribute to society by helping customers to make a change. But it's also important that we realize that it's becoming an important part of the business. It's, also companies, when they want to have access to capital, for example, investors will have a look at them from a sustainability perspective. Also, employees, if people make a decision today, if they want to join a company or not, certainly they have a look at, how sustainable is this company? Do they have a purpose that they can identify with, and so on? So we want to contribute, but also we recognize the fact that it's an important part of business life, an important part of the business processes that we want to support as SAP moving forward. And that's why we made it a very central, very important part of our strategy. And it's basically over time a dimension in a lot of solutions, in a lot of business processes that we cover.
Just real quick, before we go more into the difference between Climate 21 and sustainability, maybe a question to Priti at this point then. Climate 21, do you want to shed some more light on that? What is it? Is it a product? Is it a program? What is it?
So, yeah, that's one of the most frequently asked questions. What does Climate 21 mean? What does it stand for? Is it something to do with 2021 as a year? No, it is about climate action. It is one of the main challenges of the 21st century. And that is what SAP called as a program, as an initiative, beginning of this year, because we want to tackle those challenges. As Gunther said, it is not only something which SAP should do, but it is what our customers demand. It is what, if we take a 360 holistic view, we need that to address this biggest challenge. So it is the enabler part of SAP's product portfolio. where we want to embed this third dimension of success in everything we do. It is a board prerogative, it's a strategic initiative, and that is where we called it Climate 21, and it represents our portfolio going forward.
Thank you. And to make it more clear, can you explain what the goal and vision is for Climate 21?
Sure. So it is as Gunther mentioned, it is sustainability, right? So sustainability, as we know it traditionally, was a very compliance-driven topic, but going forward, we need to also address the climate action and what we say in development world. It's a design challenge to us to make sure that we embed this as a dimension of success. It's not just giving another software, another LOB solution, but really making sure that it is embedded in our business applications, which enables our customers to run their end-to-end processes. So if we talk about our portfolio, we have analytical applications and transactional applications, and we want to make sure that our customers optimize their resources across their value chain to make sure that product life cycle, across their product life cycle, the beginning part is the focus of our initial offerings is product-centric organizations, that is companies which produce, which manufacture, and there we want them to start their journey with the product footprint as a starting. So that is our vision, starting with carbon, of course. That is greenhouse gas, but it's much broader. Eventually, we want to cover the other dimensions like water, land use, social initiatives. So take a holistic view, and we start with when we say value chain, it is cradle to grave, but we start with the cradle to gate, which is more the front end upstream supplier driven. So that is our core vision.
Can you outline a few particular use cases? Like you mentioned some. But...
Sure. So when we are talking about the vision, there are three parts to it. The first one is we want customers to assess their the impact, right? What in their operations in across their value chains, and once they get this assessment, they can evaluate in their operations what can they optimize, right? Which part of it, because it's not a big bang, you cannot do it. You have to it's a journey of 1,000 miles. So you take it department to department. So if you do that and then help them to optimize these processes. So an example I can give you is if a manufacturing company is procuring the materials which goes into their production. We call this procure to pay process. And we want to make sure that the people who are making these decisions, the operational purchasers, the buyers, whether it's strategic, broad level procurement or at the operational level, they get insights to making sure that they are buying materials which are causing less climate impact or have less carbon footprint, as you say, product footprint. Another one is in finance. So it is if you say it's a dimension of success, we should be able to evaluate it, right? So to see in your operations what you can do the strategic steering by making sure that we are capturing this information even in your financial systems. So these are just two examples. You can talk about design. How do you design out waste out of your product so you don't even think of polluting it later, whether it's to do with plastics, whether to do with not using commodities firsthand, but recycled materials. So these are all the different use cases which the sustainability services, as we call it, will enable.
Thank you, Priti. Before we go into, and I would like to learn more about the challenges for customers and so on, maybe one question back to Gunther about the other solutions and products that we have. Is there anything about the sustainability product portfolio?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'd like to highlight is on the one side, of course, we have an existing set of products for the sustainability topic well established already in the market. So for example, we have environment, health and safety as a well established product. We have the product carbon footprint analytics, which covers the analytical part that Priti just described. So we have a set of existing ones, but then of course, moving into the next year, we are delivering additional cloud services that give us the functionality, for example, for the footprint management Priti just described, or we are also covering this important topic of a circular economy, where we want to enable our customers to reduce waste, to have a higher degree of recycling, to understand also the costs of recycling better for them and optimize it. So this topic of circular economy is also a very important pillar that is coming up. So in a nutshell, we have a set of cloud-based services, and they gather data from all sources, and then we apply this this functionality also to the individual business processes, like Priti described, procure to pay, but we cover finance, we cover the supply chain over time. So we have a set of central sustainability services plus the embedded use in our LOB solutions. That's basically the overall offering that we have.
Gunther, I held back one question quite long because I wanted to not wanted to dive in too early in the technology, but as having on the developer hat, what does that mean technology-wise? Is that something on SAP Cloud Platform? But I'll leave it over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I love this question. That's the one I've been waiting for all of the time. This is TechEd. Yeah, so of course we follow with these new products we develop now also our overall North Star architecture, which is also propagated here at TechEd. So yes, this is built on SAP Cloud Platform. It's using HANA Cloud. We make use of SAP Analytics Cloud for the analytical part of it, and of course we add logic for the data integration. We add the business semantics for this assessment, for example, that we heard from Priti and so on. So we are building this as cloud services, following the microservices paradigm, API first. And so on. So we walk the talk on this side of the house as well. And of course, we can spend quite some more time on how we do this. But that's the general principle, because we want to be open. We also want to be open for extensions by customers and partners. And at the same point in time, it's very important that we integrate deeply back into the whole portfolio of SAP, right? On a semantic level, we understand the data, we understand the business objects that are relevant, for example, for footprint calculation. So it's this combination of open modern architecture plus integration into the application that maybe I could describe as the secret sauce of what we are doing.
And it's good to hear that the SAP Business Technology Platform once again plays a significant role in sustainability at SAP.
Absolutely.
Going over to a little bit a more general approach of how and what does SAP or technology in general plays a role? Oh, what a question. Sorry for that. What does technology means to sustainability in general? Not only the SAP Business Technology Platform, most likely.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I can give it a stab, and then Priti, please feel free to add. So what we learn is a lot of our customers have an underlying challenge here, which is somehow below the waterline of sustainability, and that's the availability and quality of data, right? So our customers tell us that it's very hard to get all relevant data into the shape and into the form that you can really assess what's the footprint per product, or what's the downstream impact, and what's the financial relationships. So there is a data integration and quality challenge below. So we are of course using our technology to address that, and it's again always the combination of we have the right technology at hand from our platform, but we also need to apply the semantics and the business logic to it. That's one side. But on the other side, there's one fascinating thing coming up, and that's, I mean, we are not the only ones who strive for a more sustainable business, and there are standards emerging, and the society will start to define how do we exchange information about sustainability related pieces, right? So what's the format of a carbon footprint that, you know, different partners in the value chain can share? So we use technology to solve some of those challenges. And then together with the market in a very open spirit, we are also defining how, you know, how we standardize and how we join forces with our partner ecosystem.
Thank you. And with Climate 21, what have we shipped so far?
So this initiative is a year old, and what we did was this year in May we shipped SAP Analytics Cloud content package called SAP Product Analytics, Product Footprint Analytics, sorry. And what that allowed our customers to do, we have customers using it. It's, as I said, it's a mind shift change. Customers need to understand how can they embed this information back in their thing. So this allowed them to see what types of data they need to gather to do certain analytics in their day-to-day operation, whether it's production and their procurement. And so that is what we shipped. And it is, in fact, there's a lot of questions being asked and customers using it. And this was this year in May.
Thank you. Do you want to shed some more light on what the timeline is? The timeline is going forward for Climate 21? Like, when will customers get a first release?
Yes. So what Gunther described on what we are doing as our new innovation-driven, purpose-driven portfolio under Climate 21 and other aspects of circular economy and Climate 21. So both this large-scale product footprint management and circular economy, these are being shipped starting next year. Particular to Climate 21, we have the first release coming up with our S4HANA release of 2108, which is in August next year, with the beta release already in April, so we can check if and validate with our customers if you know how it works and all that. So the GA is much more stronger, and we will have similar releases even for circular economy.
Mm-hmm.
But I would come back to one topic on this portfolio itself, right? Talking back about technology and how important it is for us, because this is not an SAP alone play. This is a global problem, it's a global challenge, and technology will play a very important role. And when I say technology, it could be purely like geospatial, blockchain, IoT. All these are required for us to get the data, because we in SAP are the owners of the transactional data. Yeah? We say 77% of the transactions touch SAP system. That is the reason we can provide the solution to our global customers, 440,000 customers, right? But gathering the data is important. That is what Gunther hear all the time from our customers, that the quality of data, yeah, whether we have the data, primary data and secondary data is very important. And then we need to work with our partners to expand it using technology to collect the data, whether it's the soil quality, so that the crops grown or whatever. There are so many ways we've heard this question. Technology plays a very important part to complement our portfolio.
Thanks, you outlined that.
Because you've just spoken about it, is there like any further plans? We've primarily spoken about carbon footprint. Is there like any further plans besides carbon footprint?
Sure, of course. I think I was a little bit too fast to give the goal and the vision. We are starting with carbon, because carbon is an equivalent of greenhouse gases, right? And the vision is, in fact, to cover all dimensions of sustainability, which includes the natural resources like water, like land, biodiversity, and how do you capture that into your, not only your financials, but also your logistics processes. So it's much broader than the greenhouse gas, which is, carbon is the equivalent of that, right? So science has known it since 124 years that it warms the gases. And now we need to make sure that we start with that journey first, and then extend it to the other dimensions of sustainability.
As we are coming relatively close to the end of the interview, sadly, we keep continuing or talking for like way more than half an hour. I'd like to bring it to a little more personal point of view. If there's anything close to your heart to Climate 21 or sustainability, Pretty.
You know, this is such a purpose-driven topic. Yeah, it is. In some ways, for me, you know, coming from India, the Mahatma Gandhi's quote, which says, "There is enough on this planet for man's need, but not enough for man's greed." So this is a topic which is like charity begins at home. Sustainability begins at home. It is in our daily actions and what we do with it to have this impact, not only professionally, which is my privilege to drive this product, but also personally to make sure how we consume, what we consume is also considered in our daily lives. Gunther?
Yeah, I'd like to take it slightly from a different angle. I mean, I'm with SAP for, as was said by Max in the beginning, more than 20 years, and I love being an employee of SAP. But what I really find very motivating, very fascinating about this topic is that, you know, yes, we can contribute and can continue to contribute to the success of our customers. But by doing so and by looking broader, I think we in SAP are in a really good position to help here, because we have impact on the data. We have experience on how business processes run, and this combination of our jobs and what we can hopefully change. And as you rightly said, Priti, it starts with all of us individually. But when we can do this, that is what makes me get up so early in the morning for sessions like this, because we can truly make a difference, and it's true, and that's what I like.
Excellent. Thanks for getting up so early. As we are close to the end of this interview, it's up to you for some last words.
Well, if I may start, and then Priti, please.
Yes.
I mean, next year will be a very important year for sustainability and in general for the society, but also for us as a software industry and for SAP. We now gotta, make major progress to provide the right tools to manage these important, aspects of sustainability. So please join us, check out what we will deliver also in the course of next year, and then hopefully we can jointly use it and learn it and take it further. So Priti, what do you think?
Thank you. This is an absolutely amazing journey. A lot of passion, a lot of motivation among our customers, among the employees. And I just say on a very personal note, this passion which we have, it could just be persistent and patient to deliver, because this is a journey we are starting, and it will take us a few years. So if we can do this together, I think we can really have an impact. And that is what I would leave on that very positive note, to say, stay with us, join us, and we can help the world run better.
Nicely said. Thank you.
Great words at the end. Once again, thanks for joining us and making SAP TechEd 2020 a little more special as it already is. And take care and have a great TechEd further on.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Has that made things a little clearer, Melina?
Yes, it has.
welcome back. What an interesting discussion with Priti and Gunther, and quite a lot of insights. And I think SAP is in a good way and also be one step ahead. If you want to know more about SAP Climate 21, there is the SAP community, for example, community.sap.com. There's a topic page. If you click on topics, you can directly look either for Climate 21 or sustainability. SAP.com also has a purpose page. If you look for SAP.com and purpose, you'll directly get to all information about sustainability. For example, Christian's Klein keynote back in the days. Also, on the content tracks, we have 2 additional sessions if you're interested in more details about Climate 21. There is a breakout session called DT 124 and a roadmap session, as we already had some of the timelines already, DT 812 roadmap session on Climate 21. But we have another customer talking to us about sustainability. Right, Menina?
Another customer, the first one, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we had
Sorry.
2 internal experts just giving more insights about sustainability and Climate 21. But what we'll have coming up next is actually a really super addition to the topic of sustainability if we look into what they do. So coming up, we will have Royal Greenland, a customer that is the world's leading group of the seafood market. And Max is happy to provide more details as he did some more research on it, and he's laughing.
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't know of Royal Greenland before, so I tried to do my homework and had a look who Royal Greenland is. So Royal Greenland is owned by Greenland's government and is a fishing company, right?
Correct.
And so I went to their website and had a look for more information about how they operate, what they do, where they're coming from, facts and figures, etc., etc. And what I immediately came across was that they have a whole section, or like the second tab on their website is all about sustainability. So how they fish, how to try to use as much as possible recycling elements in their everyday life, etc. Amongst them, they had people promises, and one of the first and foremost thing I came across was a so-called planet promise. So they absolutely care about sustainability. We have with us in the next couple of minutes Lars Bo Hassingrad, CIO of Royal Greenland, talking to us about how they digitalized their daily catch with a mobile app. Join the session to learn more about their digital transformation journey and enjoy the video.
Hello everyone, welcome to TechEd 2020. This case is about Royal Greenland and empowering local fishermen through outstanding digital solutions. My name is Nursel. I am Head of Digital Design at Trifork Smart Enterprise. We have been SAP App House network partners since 2019. We strongly believe in taking a human-centered approach in everything we do. That is why this project brought us all the way to Greenland to conduct the field research. This project is about transforming lives by bringing SAP processes into the hands of local fishermen. And to tell you more about this, I have Lars Bo Hassingrad from Royal Greenland, the CIO, to tell you more about.
Thank you, Nursel, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to tell us a little bit about what we have been doing with Trifork and the SAP solutions. So our solution is actually a question of digitalizing the small-scale fishermen in Greenland. And to set the scene, I would like to explain a little bit about what is Royal Greenland and what we are doing. We are a fishing company. We are in the fishing industry. We have our own fleet of big factory trawlers. We have land-based factories. We are acting global, but we have a focus on the northern cold waters, which is actually where most of our product comes from. We are owned by the Greenlandic Home Rule, so we are a very big company in Greenland. In Greenland, we have 39 factories, give and take a few. We have 7, 8 factory trawlers, which are quite big factories, and then we have a variety of small vessels. The solutions that we have been working on here in this project we are presenting today is not about our own factories. It's not about our own factory trawlers and the small vessels. This is about the local fishermen, that is suppliers to our factories. And we have factories in Greenland, we have factories in Canada, Quebec, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. We have factories in Germany, Chile, and Norway, and then of course we also have a little bit of production in China. Our sales subsidiaries are placed in Europe, main countries. We have a sales subsidiary in Japan and in Canada, and also in the United States. What our customers are retail customers, it's food service, and of course it's also some industry sales to other processors in the industry. And the main challenge for this project is infrastructure and connectivity. In Greenland, a very, very big island, 39 factories we have scattered around the coastline, west coast of Greenland. There's no roads between the cities. You can only go by boat or you can go by plane. So it's not compared to anything else in the world. And also from a truly infrastructure part, which is the connectivity and internet access and things like that, then it has been expanded the last years, but it has been really, really bad. Now we are at a situation where we actually believe that making an application is possible. And that is very, very good news for us. Secondly, also, when we do solution in Royal Greenland, this far away and this big distances and makes it difficult to actually implement things. So we need to do it well. We need to do robust applications. We need to do simple applications, and we quite often bundle things into a joint solution. So being near the fish means also that we are at the outskirts of the world. And where did it all start with this project? It started back in 2018 at the hackathon at SAP Innovation Forum in Copenhagen, where we was asked to do you have a really nice process that you want to make digital? And we came up with this raw material purchase from the local fishermen. There was a lot of things that actually, you can see that 2018 is 2 years from now, it's 2020 now. But why did it take so long? Because there were some legal constraints we need to look into. We need to make sure that what we did was actually okay with the Greenlandic law. There was some policy, and also the impact of what we are doing in Greenland is very big. We are by far the biggest company in Greenland. So what we do is important, and it's important for us, but it's also important for the society. And of course, we also needed to evaluate a little bit on the business impact. We are at this part of our purchasing process in a competitive market. So it is important that what we do is actually, it supports the business and it supports our bottom line. And then, of course, again, the practicalities, end of the world, the mobile services, some of our factories is run by satellite link, etc., etc. So putting all this together, we found out that it was a pretty good idea, and then was the decision taken, and we did start the development of the app, which is not one app, it's actually 3 apps. It is an app for the fishermen, it's an app for shop floor control, and then it's a web application for back-end office handling of the purchase orders into SAP and the data that the apps are catching. Why is it so difficult? You can have a view of it here. Those are the small boats that we are supporting with this solution. It is not big factory trawlers. There's seasonality, there's bad weather, there's ice, there are difficult infrastructure on the port side. There's not proper harbors, etc., etc. So having a solution that makes this work in reality is important for us. So you have to be there, you have to see the conditions before we can actually do something. Another thing is that it's not only summer fisheries, as the pictures here shows, but we also have fishing conditions like this. We have heavy ice, you have very cold conditions, and actually being able to work on the old paper-based solution was difficult under those conditions. So basically, this was where it all started, and we hope that we can really achieve something by supporting those people on the pictures here with digital solutions. So what was it actually that we would try to achieve here? We have actually made 3 apps. One for the fisherman. It is this guy in his boat. Then we have made one for the shop floor, where we actually trying to add some knowledge to the products, and then we of course has made the final interface as a web application towards SAP. And why is this important? It is really important for us to get this information from the fishermen. We need to know where they have been fishing, how much they have caught, what is the quality, what kind of catch tools have they been using, how many hooks have they been used, what is the average weight of the fish, was there any bycatch, and what was it? And why do we do this? We do this because that we are such a big part of the community in Greenland. We want to fish sustainable. This is part of our DNA. And to be able to do so and also get those certification, MSC certification, we need to do data catch on a lot of different things. Also something that is really not important for us as a company, but it is important for us as an industry to catch this data. And we didn't really have a really good solution for it. It was paper-based, everything. The fishermen need to go in to the office, taking his small piece of paper, telling us that it was caught here, it was caught on this license, it was caught with this measures and things like that. And then he handed over the goods to us. Then we did need to put on some additional quality stuff, like what is the sensoric and what is the smell and the texture of the fish, and what temperatures did we have and things like that. That was also recorded on the same piece of paper. And being a fisherman, being outside in the minus 10, 15, 20 degrees, you have cold hands, it's difficult for them to operate this. There's also the physical things on the factories. They have to walk quite far because you can see that they are actually bringing the goods on shore with a crane. So they had to spend a lot of time on this process, and cold hands, bad pens, and made it difficult to actually read what was on this piece of paper. And it is important for us. So we decided, okay, let's go for an app. Let's see what we can pick up of those fishermen. So that was what we did. We made that app for the fishermen, and also doing that, it is important for us that the fishermen actually get some insight in what they are doing. Normally, you have your own home budget. You know what your income is. You know what kind of money you have to spend it every month. But in that community, the small community, bringing financial data, bringing other kinds of data to the fishermen is quite important for them. And before actually the app was here, we are also in this process of buying raw materials from the local fishermen. We have built a big application in SAP actually handling the fact that we need to collect union fees for them. We need to collect taxes on behalf of the government. We need also to collect debt if they have debt to third parties. We have also provided funding possibilities so that they can put a little aside of their catch every time they are bringing fish onto the port side. So we are such a big part of actually helping the fishermen in their daily lives, because this is not a tradition necessarily everywhere in Greenland. So this big part of bringing local fishermen closer to the business is quite important. And now we've just taken that step further, bringing that insight into their own lives, in the hands with an application, and they can get actually the financial information and how many kilos have been caught of each species and things like that. So for us, it is a really nice story to tell. So actually 3 apps, one for the fishermen, one for the shop floor, and one for the back office in our factories. And this is where we are coming from. This piece of paper you can see on the top picture. This is a Greenland A fisherman. He has been out fishing, and then we are going to something that looks a little bit like what we are seeing below, where they can actually tell what they have been bringing in and how the condition has been. And what was our thoughts about this project? Actually, we are running SAP in RightGreen as a wall-to-wall solution, so of course it would be a smart thing to make sure that this installation that we have been working on and fine-tuning for many years also was a part of the future solution in the app part. We are though running other mobile solutions. We have a mobilizer, we have Liquid UI for smaller things, but when we did the decision, we also were thinking of what is the business impact, what is the strategic position of the project, and what we have been doing in other terms was actually to say, okay, this is a small solution, this is a quick fix. We can use some tools for that, but for this project, it was a strategic project. We could see a big business impact moving forward, bringing those fishermen closer to us, and we can also see already now that in the backlog, with good ideas of things that we can actually put into this this application, we can see that having a well-defined architecture, having a well-designed solution is really important. So that was really important for us, and also making use of this really strong internal SAP competences that we have, so we can bring deep insight into SAP, deep insight into our businesses in Greenland, and then actually trying to bridge that with an application. And for sure, we were not really good at doing applications internally at Royal Greenland. It was a new thing for us. So it was really nice, and it was a challenge for us to actually team up with somebody who actually knew about the UI and app things, what is working and what is not working. Another thing that was really nice for us and really important for us in this project was this design thinking workshops we did, and also this approach with an MVP. The thing is, we have, of course, our company has we have our own DNA. We also have a quite good feeling about what is working and what is not working. So making constantly changes to solutions in Greenland where it's difficult to actually implement things. It's difficult to be there on site. 39 factories, you can only fly between them. Means that when we do something, it needs to be pretty much fixed. So this MVP thinking is, of course, really important, but also trying to bend the ends towards a more finished solution is important. And this has been a really good process for us, and also for our partner actually to work with an MVP as a concept, but still having a fixed solution. And why is that important? Because we have high employee turnover in Greenland. We have a very few key users that is actually trained and doing well. We have language problems. In Greenland, the main language is, of course, Greenlandic. It's only very few people speaking that. 50,000 in the world is speaking Greenlandic. The second language is Danish, and not all Greenlandic people do speak Danish, and English is for the few. And of course, this things about getting around is a bit difficult, and it's also extremely costly. And also, one really nice thing about this project is that the work has been been around in Greenland, and everybody has an opinion on this. We have also in our backlog thought about having rescue in Greenland. It's a big and difficult task for people, for those who are actually doing that, for the security, for those who do. I guess it's the army. But they have actually contacted us to be able to talk about solutions for the fishermen, because if we know a fisherman has been going out fishing and we know he has been at a certain point at a certain time, okay, then if he's missing, why don't we go look there? And every year people are disappearing in Greenland. They can go out fishing, they go out hunting, and they might not come back. And then it's really nice to be able to find out where have they been the last time anyone has seen them. And then, of course, it is really, really important for us to have this sustainability part. We are in our DNA a sustainable fishing company. We want to fish today. We want to fish tomorrow. And being able to fish in 2 or 3 years means that we have to be very focused on having a stock of fish that is fishable. And bringing statistics to the government and those parties is a really important thing for us. And then, of course, the architecture behind this solution is that now is a SAP Cloud Platform solution. We have all the infrastructure in place. It has also taken some time for us because we started from a greenfield, and we need to build both knowledge internally, but also setting up the system. But it was not the hard part. The hard part was actually to take a paper-based process where you can take that paper and move it around, and then actually make it into an app where you don't have control of the sequence of the data coming in. You don't control what is written on that paper. You need to make sure that everything from the back end is brought up to the app, and also so it is actually validated and things like that. Simple things, but by taking it from a piece of paper where it's completely no sequence in it, and then put it into an app has been also an eye-opener for us. And another thing is, of course, also this digitalization of the fishermen, and also bringing them devices that they can actually use. We have taken the strategic position to actually go with an iOS device, both on the shop floor, but also for the fishermen. And they don't necessarily have iOS devices themselves. So we are actually giving or leasing out hardware to the fishermen to make sure that they have what they need to be able to work. And that is also a part of this digitalizing the Greenlandic society. So this is our technical infrastructure. We have the end users. They can access the solution by the iPhone app. We have the iPad shop floor, and then we have the web application in the back office. We are using SAP IaaS for authentication, and then we have the SAP Cloud Platform, and they have connected to our backend system. So this is basically a simple infrastructure overview. We are quite happy, and it's working well. That was basically my presentation, and I'm happy to show you what we at RightGreen have been trying to achieve by digitalizing the fishermen, and we are really looking forward to finally get a chance to deliver it. Because of the COVID, it has been postponed several times, but it seems as though that now we are allowed, even though with a little bit of quarantine in Greenland, to actually go and do a pilot implementation in 2 weeks. So we are looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lars. That was very, very interesting. I just have a finishing question. Have you considered any key performance indicators? How do you know that this project is a success?
This is a good question, of course, because you really don't know before you start. But to get an insight the perception of this project, we actually did several things. First of all, we did this design thinking workshop in Greenland with Trifor. That was the first indication we had on the perception of a project like this. Before we actually started the development, we also did some mock-ups on the screens and tried to make it on a small application, just going through the screens as they might have looked, and then we called in fishermen in Greenland locally, and we had their thoughts on it. They had adjustments and things they would like to actually change. And of course, the thing was that it was really random tests when we went to Greenland because to verify the solution, because we have invited, 15 people for that session, and none of them came. So we had to go to the port side, just picking a few ones there, saying, "Can you come?" So we were 10 people randomly chosen, and they also was a part of this, finding out what was working and what was not working. So, and they were really looking forward to solutions like that. And then, of course, during this development phase, the words has been spreading in Greenland, and the fishermen is actually asking, will there be a solution for us? Because they have heard from their colleagues that it would be quite nice. So basically, we have a strategy saying that if we get 1,000, 1,200 fishermen on the solution, we are very happy. We are expecting 400-500 people working with this application next year, at the end of next year. So this is what we are aiming at, 1,000 to 1,200 users of the application. So that is the final threshold for our success.
That sounds very interesting. I'm looking forward to knowing more about the numbers and to share the story with you for next year also. Thank you, Lars Bo.
Not a problem.
Thank you, Lars, and thank you, Royal Greenland, for coming on and telling about your digital journey. I think it's quite interesting how challenging the scenario is, including remote locations and also governmental requirements.
Royal Greenland really made a change, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, they didn't only improve their processes, but also at the end, also the local fishermen, where they were helping them in their daily business, so
Absolutely.
becoming paperless here, so really cool. I would like to give you an outlook to the upcoming hour, since we're at the end of this hour already. So after a short teaser of about digital transformation, you will see another hour full with upskilling community talks. We have community members joining us live, having interviews with Max and myself. And with that, we're looking forward to the next hour. See you soon.
See you in the kitchen.
Yeah, in the kitchen.
We all talk about the big picture, but do you know what happens behind the scene? For more than 14,000 SAP S/4HANA customers, the answer is a resounding yes. On the 5th anniversary of our first release of SAP S/4HANA. Hi, I'm Jan Gilg, President of SAP S/4HANA. Join us online at SAP TechEd and visit our dynamic track focused on the world of digital transformation with intelligent ERP. If you're a developer, engineer, architect, or IT manager, you'll learn how you can deliver